So, Sister Jennifer Mary, also known as the Demented Pixie, also known as Jenny B or Jenny the Peg. Yeah, tell me how you got into bats by accident.
It was by accident.
So, you may continue, and by the way, I probably will interrupt half the time, but I'm trying really hard not to.
Meg, you can't help yourself but interrupt, darling.
My mouth is sealed. I'm not saying anything at all.
Okay, so it is 1995, the year before Lyssa actually burst onto the scene and we had to be vaccinated. And I have a dear friend, a nurse called Maylene, who was raising orphan pups herself. Now, I'd go visit them and I thought they were the most enchanting things I'd ever seen. And after a Pitt Street Farmers shootout in the orchards up on the Central Coast in December 1995, I got a frantic call from Maylene to say she needed help. She was heading up to collect orphan flying fox pups, and could I possibly consider looking after one, because I'd done feeds and toileting and all of that sort of stuff with her lot. So yes, I said. Up we went and were surrounded by orphans. I had a 2-hour training session with Gwen Parry-Jones and came home with Elmo, who was about 5 weeks old, I think. He was 150 grams, and I can't remember what his forearm was, but that's pretty good.
It is a good memory.
All those years ago. I remember him being 150 grams. So Elmo grew up with my son and me. Elmo got very possessive of me, and if my son tried to sit next to me on the couch, Elmo would climb off me and edge his way along to Nick, chittering evilly. Poor old Nick ended up on a beanbag on the floor.
How old was Nick at the time?
He was around about 8.
Around about 8, okay.
Yeah.
So you were Elmo's mum and he didn't want to share.
He did not.
He did not want to share.
He was a young bat of very definite opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I'm trying to remember what his favourite television program. He loved Rugrats for some reason. Mm-hmm. He'd arch up and start swaying.
And head bobbing.
And head bobbing. Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
So the time came. I only got told off once because he got too fat. I had to report weekly to Gwen on his progress, and he got too fat. I was overfeeding him. And then I suppose after about 3 months, maybe a bit less, we took him back up to the Central Coast, and he sat on my chair and he watched the other orphans coming to creche on the big era, and eventually he flipped over to them, back to me, back to them, eventually staying with them and checking them out, because he hadn't seen another flying fox at this stage.
He was a singleton.
No. Mm. He didn't know what they were.
He didn't realise he was one of them.
Well, no, not really. Mind you, that changed instantly. He went into the creche cage with the other orphans, and I walked off to have a quiet private sniffle, and I still do that, sadly. It's weird after all these years.
You still cry when your babies go to creche?
No, I cry. Yes, I do.
Oh, I don't. I'm horrible.
You can't wait to get rid of them.
I can't wait to get rid of them, yes.
So when I came back after my private sniffle, the little sod was hanging between 2 young female bats, one of whom was assiduously grooming him, and I swear that beady little eyes, his head swiveled, and those beady little eyes looked straight at me and said, "So long, sucker." Yeah. They really do turn into obnoxious teenagers when they go to creche, before they go to creche, actually.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way it should be.
It's exactly the way it should be.
Sister, I didn't realise nuns had tattoos.
Oh.
And who's this little one, do you know?
No, I don't know the name. I don't know the name.
But it's an awesome one, isn't it? An awesome
It's based on a piece of artwork done by Louise Saunders.
Right. The Unknown Bat.
The Unknown Bat.
Sister, I just showed a tiny bit of your cleavage.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh dear! Quickly covers up. Bloody hell, Meg. Nobody wants to see ancient cleavage. Get away!
My viewers like to see everything.
Hey, didn't you say you knew Elaine at some stage?
Yes, I did. She actually looked after me in Prince Alfred when I was sick in my
God.
30s, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, in Gloucester House. She looked after me for a long time. But she never told me that she did bats. Otherwise, I would have found it out much sooner and maybe discovered bats sooner.
Well, I met her by doing... Prince Alfred used to put on shows every year, a sort of review.
That's when I met you.
And that's when, yeah, exactly, that's when I met you. And then I lost contact with both of you and then got in touch again through A, Facebook, and B.
Well,
I can remember sending you a message that said, are you by any chance the Meg Churches who used to do Prince Alfred reviews?
Hello, Darcy.
Hi, Darcy.
We came across this bottle of Bollinger somehow. I don't know, it was just in my car. And then it went into the freezer. And then just because I was up here and because Jenny B is Sister Jennifer Mary.
Thank you.
Yes, is here. We decided that we'll have a glass for you. I don't know why, do you?
No, not really. It seemed like a good idea.
At the time, yeah.
It did.
Okay,
So,
to Darcy.
To Darcy.
To Darcy.
Mm.
Yep. We good?
Chin chin.
Chin chin. Bye.
In about 1998, 99, I moved from Adelaide to the East Coast. And all I wanted to do with wildlife was photograph the local wildlife carers looking after possums and macropods and lizards and birds. And bats.
As you do.
And bats. So I went along and took a heap of photos from people's houses. And then I somehow got sucked into going down to Lismore, and I met Robin Goff, Jackie Maisie and Cheryl Cochrane.
Awesome people.
Awesome. And that was good until I went in Cheryl's cage. Now I just got vaccinated in case, and I went in Cheryl's back cage, and I still remember her name, a big grey female called Melaleuca, came down off the roof, down the cage, climbed on my shoulder, and she's doing snuggles on my ears. I lost it, I was hooked. She looked in my eyes, I looked at her eyes. That's it, history.
History. And how many years ago was that?
1998.
So 22, 23 years.
24 if it was 19.
So it's all Cheryl Cochrane's fault.
Okay, let's blame Cheryl Cochrane.
And a beautiful grey called Melaleuca, and I still remember the name. And I met Robin Goff, she was my mentor.
Yeah.
And Jackie Maisie.
Yep.
Brilliant ladies, absolutely.
That's
brilliant.
Auntie Jack. We call her
Auntie
Auntie
Jack.
Jack. Yes.
And I spent every weekend in Jackie's house because I got my first babies, and I'm a man. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to break their wings, and she's like, oh, for God's sake, Dave, just give it here. She's cleaning their wings, and they don't dislocate and they don't break.
Exactly.
And
They
they're
tell
all right.
you how far you can go.